This is Masters of Music. I'm Voldemort.
Hey, I'm Derek.
And this is Masters of Music Podcast, episode
3, Revenge of the Sith.
And this week's episode, we have Murv Douglas. He's from Powerman 5000 and Lords of Acid.
Yes, he's an extraordinary bass player, guitar player, keyboardist, producer, singer, great high alto singer, and songwriter, all of the above.
Hey, but we got to move on now because it's time for Music
News.
And what's going on this week? You guys know?
You guys want to talk about anything in specific? I know. I want to talk about quarantining musicians and what quarantine and the pandemic is doing to musicians in the modern day. So there's all sorts of concerts going on. There's social distancing concerts. There's drive-in concerts, little staged, little platform concerts, and there's completely not social distant concerts, and there's live streams, of course, and there's a bunch of bands that are doing it now since June, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think for a while nobody's been making money actually recording music or anything. So like playing live is the bread and butter of being a musician nowadays.
Yeah.
And with COVID-19, it's kind of like destroyed any livelihood as musicians we have. So I think it's like super, we want it like as much as possible to just go out there and play. But I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do. Like, we've heard about Great White.
Yes, right? Yes. So Great White. Great White is quite notorious for, if I may, fucking shit up live. Not musically, just for their fans. But just last month, I think in July, they had a show in North Dakota, and it was completely not social distant. And everyone was in, like, right next to each other, just like a normal concert. And even the promoter, I have a quote from the promoter of that show. He says, it's called the First on First concert series. That's the name of the series of concerts. And he says, just like, we do not have any restrictions, believe it or not, we don't have any. So, it's up to the people to come by with their own, precaution and stuff, but that's up to them, and whoever shows up, shows up. And then, so, of course, after the concert, Great White issued a big apology and saying, like, oh man, we advise people to bring stuff, whatever. But yeah, it was just this whole weird cluster of germs. I don't know if anyone got sick from that or passed away or anything, but hopefully no one will be injured or hurt or dead from this non-social distancing concert. But there's been a lot. There's been so many, especially like in other parts of this country. There's a lot of non-social. I have friends that play, big shows that aren't necessarily distant, and it's just this big political thing. And I have friends that play super distant shows in cars and everything. So I'm still kind of getting an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, is it right or wrong? Like, I don't know where I believe other people should be doing. Like I said before, music and performing live is like what we want to do. But I think as musicians at this moment, for me, I believe that we have to bite the bullet and just wait. Do other things. I know it's like right now everybody wants us to go out there and play. Venues are trying to get us to go out there and play. So you're getting offers and offers and offers to go out because people aren't wanting to get out. But I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Just personally for me, I would say bite the bullet. And if you got to do something, do it like more socially distant, like the drive-in kind of thing or whatever. Because you never know what's going to happen out there. But yeah.
This is a good time for everyone to record and write music.
Yeah. Just like I said it before, like at this time, we can build the castle. We're building the building blocks to everything that we want to do. So write, record, edit stuff, produce, make new things, and then hopefully when this is all over, we get back to normalcy. And then the rock concert will be more enjoyable. Like, I just think it's like, I don't even want to go out anywhere that much, because if I go out, I can't enjoy it. Restaurants are open. Like, how can I enjoy it when it feels kind of like you never know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like restaurants, movies, all of these things. I'd just rather stay home.
Yeah, I don't want to touch anything anymore. Not for a while. I don't want to touch like other people's things.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you might start doing some live events, but socially distancing, or
Yes.
what are you thinking?
Oh yeah, I have one. I have a show not yet confirmed, but pretty much confirmed, and flying out to San Antonio November 1st. We have a show out there, just theater drive-in concert, and I don't know what the event is for. It's just people want to see a show. People want to see shows. So yeah, I got like it pays pretty well. I can't wait.
He's doing it in like a safe way, and hopefully the show's a success and everyone gives you a standing high beam ovation.
High beam ovation.
That's what they do. Yeah, they honk and then they do high beams or whatever.
We'll definitely have Norwood on the show. We have to have him. He's the bass player. Norwood Fisher from Fishbone. He'll tell you this story, but he just had a show, drive-in show, with the band Ozo Motley. I think just somewhere in Orange County, just like a little over 3 weeks ago. And he said he was just tripped out. There's no monitors. And so I think they're all in ears. And if you want to hear the music, you tune in to like a certain radio station.
Yeah.
And so everyone's speakers are in their car. And whenever, instead of clapping, they honked. So
Yeah.
Norwood is like, what the every time he finished a song, he's like, whoa, what's going on? He's like freaking out about it. But it's just like, it was weird. But he'll tell us that story.
That's awesome. That's like I'll be like, Mama, I was on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Musicians finally get to be on the radio.
Yeah,
like
fuck
good
yeah.
musicians.
Yeah, but we got to move on because we got to get to
Murv Douglas! Yeah, slightly, huh?
Slightly.
Like a little bit. Yeah, I mean, because
I'm a fan of this.
Oh, dude, I'm a fan of yours. Dude, you're freaking awesome. This is so crazy. I mean,
You're awesome.
Dude, I didn't even know, like...
Yeah, I'm not awesome. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, Walmart's awesome.
No one knows me.
Wait, how do you know...
Can I say something about you and your career, Derek?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, this is, I don't know, I'm saying this in the nicest possible way, but it's kind of a jab at the same time.
Uh-huh. I love those.
Your career, I can tell you, is being held back by the fact that you have a little bit of success already.
Ah.
And the way I say that, because everyone knows that you are you have been, maybe you aren't now. I don't know your personal business, but maybe you have been at one point contractually obligated to some form of record company or some management or something, right?
Right.
Everybody knows that, and they're avoiding you. They're like, if we could just get that guy Derek, we'd when we can make him sing our song, because we know our song's a hit, right? Everyone thinks their song's a hit, right? If we can get Derek, our record label, to sing our song, we'd have a success. We'd have a hit or a next hit album, right?
Right.
But he's already taken, so we can't. So you've lost a lot of business.
Right.
I can tell you, I've talked to 6 or 7 different people, and they've all said the same thing. That guy, if we could just get him, but we can't. So I can tell you, you've lost out on a lot of business, positive or negative. I don't know.
You're right.
Because of whatever you've already gotten yourself involved in. So I only hope whatever you're involved in is working for you, because you have a lot of other opportunities. Everyone wants to work with you. Everyone wants to show up. I know people who want to give you money.
Wow.
Already. I mean, you probably know this already. I'm probably not telling you anything new, so I'm really just letting cats out of bags here. But I wanted to tell you because I didn't know if you knew that, you know?
That's actually super awesome that you bring that up, because yeah, I mean that whole that is I do know that to an extent. I didn't know there were that many, but of course with every open door, a few, like 3 close, and there's always stuff like that, and it's, as of now, where I'm quite happy with what I'm doing right now.
Awesome.
But yeah, but that's
Can we even talk about what you're doing right now? Is that?
I think we can, yeah.
Well, the fact that you're happy is the fact that you say you're satisfied and happy at the moment. I hope you're not just saying that and towing the party line. I hope you really mean that, because there's a lot of, I've seen you a million times. I believe in you. Everyone believes in you. Everyone feels the same way I do, right? I'm not being unique and saying I believe in you. Everyone believes in you, and we're all hoping for the best for you, because you're like the one guy who could be the next big rock star in the world, you know? And so I don't know if that's what you are right now. I don't see you touring the entire world doing a stadium tour. But we all know that you could, you know?
Right.
And the fact that you're saying you're happy now makes me feel better, you know?
Oh, good. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's always so much doubt and everything, and like the pandemic itself has slowed everything down, and like there were plans to go on tour this year, and they just kind of fell through.
Yeah.
So recording has been pushed, and everything's been pushed, but I think just the path I'm on now, what we're doing now, my band is like writing with everybody from like The Darkness to Buck Cherry to like we're working with Steel Panther on Thursday, and so it's a lot of oh yeah, he took a snapshot.
We saw that.
Yeah.
Yay.
I didn't mean to. I'm trying to like move my screen position of my actual screen is in front of your face. So I'm trying to like, how do I move it to the middle in between you guys? Because you guys are left and right. So I'm like trying to see your face, and I just want to see your pretty face. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't mean to take a screenshot. I'm sorry.
No, dude, take as many screenshots as you want.
Yeah.
No, but this is what the podcast is about. This is what we want to get to. Like,
yeah, the business itself as well as the creative outside and every corner of it.
Yeah, it's like I was talking about this before. Like, Derek was actually in the band with me, and we got signed.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I consider it a success. No matter what happens, like being able to get signed, even though we got dropped. And Derek left the band after the first album, recording it.
Yeah.
But we met a lot of cool people, and we did a lot of cool things. But then once you actually get signed, you find out like how difficult or crazy or like sometimes you can't even be a band if you want to, or like be true to yourself, because they start like you need a hit, go back, write more songs. Like there's so much different little things that people that want to be like musicians or whatever can learn from, like people like you and Derek. And like Derek has his things, and like maybe he lost a few offers because of the thing that he's doing now.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing that like to open people's minds up to, I would say.
Right.
Yeah. And then finding out stories like your story, like of where you're from. But you're from LA like us, right? I think?
Yeah.
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 Angelinos.
Yeah.
Get that Angelino card.
Can we talk about something you just hit on?
Yeah.
Like what it takes to be a musician? Like success is, let's not talk about success.
Yeah.
Because that's like winning the lottery, right? But to be a musician that actually is worth something
Yeah.
to yourself and to the couple people who like your music, I think that both of you guys already know what the real secret is, but I just want to talk about it, and I kind of want to talk about the ugly side of it.
Oh yeah,
If that's
let's
okay
do
with
it.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get ugly.
I think that like the reason like you see a band like any band that works, Rage Against the Machine, the Beatles, whoever, right, is because they found a group of guys that are like-minded, and that's great. But that's not even it. Like finding the group of guys that are like-minded is literally a once-in-a-generation thing, right? So that's the winning the lottery part of it.
Yeah.
Actually, the success beyond that is winning the lottery part of it too. It's all like winning the lottery. But before that, just as individuals with the right mindset, I think the right mindset is a really dark place. And everyone likes to think, oh, I just want to get in my comfort zone and make the music that I love, and we have got to be surrounded by the right vibe. And it's like, no. That is not necessarily what makes good music. We all know that good music comes from torture and pain, right? We know that as artists.
Yeah.
We don't like to face that part of it. And there's a whole generation of modern, young, mostly rappers who are seriously not facing that part of it. They show up. I have a studio here. You're looking at it. And they show up and they want to do a whole bunch of flow. This has always been the problem with rappers, right? And mostly a lot of musicians too. They just want to show up and do the fun part. And it's like, well, the hard work part is you have to reveal something personal about yourself in the performance somehow, whether it's the lyrics or the performance or the look on your face that you're ashamed to show everybody. But you have to do that part, because that's the revelatory part that means something, right? And what do I mean by that? It's like, if I write a song about you've probably heard me say this before, but I've said it to all kinds of people. If I write a song about ice cream, right? The song won't have a whole lot of meaning. I love ice cream. Well, why do you like ice cream? Because it's so damn sweet.
Yeah.
But if you write a song about ice cream with a little motivation behind you, like your house just burned down, or worse, right? Or much worse, something worse happened to you or someone you love. Now you can say you can write a cheesy ass line like, the ice cream saved my life, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that you can say it with conviction, right? The ice cream saved my life because you don't want to see what's over there, you know?
Right.
So like, that is where music comes from. That's where passion comes from. That's where art comes from pain, right? And if you don't have the pain, don't be an artist because you're not welcome here, you know? And if you're trying to be an artist because you are a fan and you want to be part of the club, sorry, it's not meant for you. This is a darker place. And if you're trying to be in the dark, you're not ever going to get there, you know? Yeah. And so I think the reality is, you know, that's why that's the part that we all like to avoid, but that's the part that's important, you know? And that when you get into a studio and record your song, you know, it's great when you find a producer who's like pushing you and saying negative shit to you and getting you in a place that you're uncomfortable with, or making you, you know, I want this whole next take of vocals. Don't open your teeth. I just want to see how that sounds. And you're like, I don't think that sounds good. And the producer's like, I don't give a fuck what you think.
Right.
You do what the fuck. I'm the one sitting behind the speakers listening to your ass. So try it. And if you don't like it, Lord forbid you feel something while you're trying to express yourself musically, you know? So like, that's the important part. That's music.
Yeah.
But that's the whole, I've never heard that talked about anywhere any ever. And it's like, why are you missing the point? The point, because it's hard. No one wants to talk about that. No one wants to think that's what music is. But that's the reality. It's ugly. And if it's not ugly, it's no good. You know?
Damn.
That's music.
Yeah,
that's what I think is success.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to write the song, first of all, that's like, even in your own dark place, to do it by yourself, that's success. And then to be able to convey it, that's another level. Like, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. I think every single, all our favorite songs have complete torture. All our favorite art pieces definitely has like terrible, really bad history behind it. Yeah. That's interesting, man.
Well, it makes sense because like if you've got the ice cream that we mentioned, and then you've got the dark side. The dark side is further away from the ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So this distance that's wider and wider and growing wider with the darker the dark, the worst thing that's happened to you in your life, the worst experience. That distance is the length of your perspective, the width of your perspective, right?
Right.
So the bigger your perspective, the bigger your ability to tell a story, the bigger your ability to perform well on stage. Derek, I've seen you perform your ass off on stage. You must have a nasty past, dude. I have seen you. You are real. You know, I think that you have you might be a psychopath. I don't know. You scare the shit out of me because I know the reality of this. To perform like you do, dude, I don't know what terrible thing happened to you or what terrible thing you do on a regular basis, but your performance is amazing.
Yeah.
You know? And everyone knows. Everyone sees the same thing. But you freaking open up your soul and open your mouth as wide as you can when you sing. You freaking pour your... Dude, you do it right.
Yeah,
and I got to ask you, do you have a delightful past, or is it some darkness in there? Like,
oh man, no. I wish that, I'm so glad you brought this up. I wish I did have a much easier. Don't get me wrong. Our parents are great. We're brothers. Our parents.
Yeah, that's why I moved out, because he's a psychopath. I'm like, fuck this. I used to use Derek as influence on my performances. When Derek left the band, my old band that we got dropped, we got signed together and whatever. When I used to go, before going on stage, like in Tennessee or Wisconsin, or wherever the fuck we were playing, I would watch videos of Derek performing before I went on stage, just because it would help me perform better. It's fucked up, but I did it.
Yeah.
It's like masturbating to my own brother. Fucking
Well,
Christ.
it's kind of interesting, though, because you know the motivation behind his performance better than most people.
But let's talk about you, man.
Yeah, fuck us, dude. We're like, I'm tired of... Hey, dude, I want to know about Murv Douglas.
I've been sober for 5 years. I might not be sober after this. I'm joking.
I know, we're like, oh, man.
No, but yeah, dude, like, where did Murv become Murv? How did Murv become Murv? That's what I'm saying. Like, we know where you are kind of now, a little bit, but, like, how did we know you're from LA. Just, like, let us know a little bit about you. Like, how did this become...
And also, real quick, is Murv is that like short for anything? Is that your real name? Is that like, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just curious.
Murv is short for Merville. Merville is the only thing that I know about that name is a city in France.
Yeah.
It's a French name. And I know that my grandfather, my dad and my grandfather, we have the same name. I'm Murv John Douglas III, right?
Yeah.
My grandfather was given that name because he was a black man in Alabama, and they wanted him to sound like a white guy so that on a resume he could get a job back in, I don't know, the 30s or the 40s, whenever he was looking for a job.
Wow.
When was he born? He must have been born in, I forget. I should know my grandfather's age. But so that's where that name comes from. I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley.
Wow.
I went to high school at Sherman Oaks CES. I went to college at Pierce and CSUN and Valley College.
Nice.
I've been in the bands I've been in, the noteworthy bands, Cage 9, the Kidney Thieves, Revolting Cocks, Lords of Acid, Powerman 5000. Those are the ones, like, there was another band I toured with called Opus Die.
Mm-hmm.
But where did I come? You're asking where I come from.
Yeah.
I think there's like a lot of like, I'm half black and half Armenian, right? And it's it's kind of like the self-indulgent, like, who am I and why am I the way I am kind of conversation. But I know that being half black and half Armenian, I grew up in the 90s. And I knew that, like, to all of my black friends, there were no black friends because I wasn't white enough. Or, I'm sorry, I wasn't black enough to be in the black friend group. And to all the white friends, I was like their black friend. It was kind of like being a mascot or a pet. That's what I mean. They were not treating me that way, but that's what it felt like to me. So it's really me, right? That's feeling this way, even though the other people are just like, oh, you're a different color. Who cares? You know. So I'm not saying anyone's racist. I'm saying I felt in between, right? And what that feels, we all know what it feels like, but I'm going to just go ahead and say it because I don't know if my feeling of it's the same as yours. So, like, it feels like when I try, like, it feels like there's no place to hide. There's no place to fit in, right? Mm-hmm. Feels naked. Like, I tried to ask out. The first girl I ever asked out, I was like, I'm going to go up to who am I going to ask out? Well, there's a black girl. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my black side, right? For reasons I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And so I went and asked out this girl, and she was like, no.
What?
And so I went, okay, I could take rejection. So I walked away. But as I'm walking away, it's funny. You should never ask out a girl with her friends around her because they're going to talk smack, right? Yeah. So, you know, I went, and as I'm walking away, I hear, he's just not black enough. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, I can fix that. So I went, and back in that time, I was like, cross-colored outfits and clothing was a big thing, right? So I went and got my purple pants and my hoodie with, like, half of it was orange, half of it was red, and this sleeve was green and this one was purple, and I got my box fade on. I came back, it's black, like within a week or two, right? Yeah. And so, like, I think I asked the same girl out again. It might have been another girl in the same group. Mm-hmm. I really don't remember. But the point is, I went and tried again. Yeah. And I went and, asked her, how would you go out with me? And the answer was still no. I'm like, okay, I could take it. It's cool. You know, I tried. I lost. No big deal. I'm not really that broken up about someone I don't know that well. Yeah. I'm walking away. As I'm walking away, I hear, he's a lot cuter. And I went, wait, what? What do you mean I'm a lot cute, right? Damn. But he still ain't black, right? So I'm like, fuck that bitch. You know? That shit. You know what? Fuck this whole thing. Yeah. I tried my best. I actually did look good. It's just the one thing that stopped me is that I am not black and I'm not white, right? Yeah. So I know what that means. That means I'm not either thing. I'm this abomination. And what's really scary about that is, like, to like, anyone who's a racist, the one thing a racist is trying to avoid is the combination of races. Why do they want to avoid that? Because they don't want half black, half. They don't want me. They don't want the abomination to raise its ugly head, right? They don't want these half black, genetically superior people walking around, right? You know, when you have, in dogs, mutts are like a lot healthier,
stronger,
right? Because the genes, like, weed out when you combine two different things. They weed out and they become stronger.
Right.
They don't want people like me walking around who are better than them, right? So to me, a racist is a real fear to me. It's a real monster, right? Yeah. But that's like kind of the least of my problems in reality. The reality is I just don't fit in anywhere, and I don't feel like I ever have, you know? I have no place to hide. I can't dress up as a black guy and be black, or I can't act like a white guy and be white, right? Or anything in between, really. There's no slot for me to fit in. There's no group of like half black, half white people that I can join and be friends with, and that doesn't exist, right? So my whole life I've had this feeling of I'm naked. I can't hide anywhere. That's who I am. Whoa. You want to know who I am?
Yeah. That's where you get the
Go ahead.
Your performance. Like,
I was just gonna say, it makes so much sense, dude. On stage, I've seen you play so many times, and just like, first of all, your look is so eclectic. I can't pin you. I'm like, you got fucking huge hair. You're just fucking like, you wear like, sometimes you have like chains. Sometimes you just like, your fucking style is just bold. I'm like, oh, I cannot pull that off. I won't pull that shit off.
Yes, you can. You can do it better than me.
No,
you totally could.
I beg to differ, man. Your shit's crazy. But I love it. It's like, damn, that's rock and roll right there. It just comes off like someone who's just like, I'm not fucking a part of, since I'm not a part of this, I'm going to be a part of my own goddamn thing. Like, this is me then. Like, you can be a part of me if you can handle it kind of thing. That's what I get from it. So I'm so glad you gave us that background. I'm like, dude. And of course, your voice.
That's exactly how I feel.
Dude,
I love you, man. You get me.
Absolutely, man. Oh, that's I'm just thinking of all the times at the Viper I've seen you play. I'm like, oh yeah. And your voice is just like, God, it's like super loud. You got high notes in there. I'm like, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I was thinking like by the bands that you've played in, there's a lot of like heaviness to it.
So
like it seems like you gravitate. I don't know. It's also like the industry we end up where we end up, but you kind of gravitate to that heaviness. But then I've heard you sing, and your fucking voice is fucking amazing. Yeah. So it's like, it's almost like,
thank you.
It's almost like the opposite of two worlds, but with the power of both.
It's like when worlds collide. No, but it really is though. Like you play really heavy. You have heavy hands when you play bass. I'm not sure if that's your original, but you got that thump to it. Like it's but you have this beautiful angelic voice. It's like you could sing Journey if you wanted to. I think you have sung Journey at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's beauty and disaster at the same fucking time. And it's a great mix. Like it's fucking like I was listening to all your stuff and I was like watching videos of you perform live and I was just like it's just beautiful. Yeah. And there's beauty in darkness and there's beauty in basically what we call beauty, right? And like beautiful notes and your voice is just so like he said angelic, but it's fucking perfect. Like it's great. Like,
dude.
Yeah. People like do you feel as a singer or a bass player? That's one thing that we want to talk about. Like there's some guys that are more bass player like singer how did you become a bass player? Or do you feel like a bass player?
I'm not a singer or a bass player. I'm a producer.
Oh.
I'm a guy who likes I'm only doing what I have to do. Like, you know, if someone said like the first band I was ever in, I learned to play guitar. I was the guitar player. But the bass player sucked. I'm like, give me that thing. Let me show you what you're supposed to. Because I had bought a bass at pawn shop, like a cheap P bass, and like I was like, all right, I needed a cheap P bass at home to record, like every guitar player does, right? We have a bass at home, so and back then I had a 4-track. Nice. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna need a drum machine to program the drums. I'm gonna need to sing something, even though I'm not a singer. My dad can sing though, so maybe I do have some singing, you know, in my, you know, genes or something. But like. And my mom actually, come to think of it. But like, you know, I was singing for the sake of like putting together a song, and I was programming the drums. I'm not a drummer at all. Programming the drums to put together a song, and I, you know, playing the bass in order to put together the song. And I actually like playing guitar. You know, I'm not a real good guitar player, but like I'm a rhythm guitar player at best. But like that's what I wanted to do. But when I got into this band. The bass player did not have any understanding. I understood how to put the whole song together. So I was like, the bass needs to do this and pretty much only that, especially in the sake of this song, right?
Yeah.
So I had to be like, give it to me. Let me show you. Play this. Play exactly what I'm telling you, right? And they didn't get it. The next day I came to band rehearsal and they were like, Murv, you're the bass player now. And I went, no, I'm the guitar. Whatever. Whatever. I'll play the bass. I had a bass at home. I got an amp at home already. I'll just do it, you know? But it's not because I'm a bass player. It's because I'm a producer. You know, I know I'll put together the song in the way that it needs to be put together because I feel it and you're wrong and I'm right because I have a big ego, right? That's it. I think that's what a producer is a big ego, to be honest. Just a person with an inflated ego who thinks they know the right thing, right?
Absolutely. Which is necessary.
I sing because someone needs to, and I don't say no when someone says, "Hey, you want to do this thing?" I go, "Yeah." You know, I play bass for the same reason, and there's a much greater demand for bass players than there is for guitar players and singers.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
There's a much player. If I really was smart, I'd learn keyboard because we all know there's a much greater demand for keyboard players than anybody else, right? So, and apparently, if you learn an instrument like violin, you get to be in some orchestra on a movie set or something. So that's probably even better.
Yeah, even more. Yeah, demand. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually know somebody who played on Ratatouille, like fucking all these big ass movies like Gattaca and shit. Like,
oh yeah, she does like Pixar, right?
Yeah, Pixar movies, Ratatouille, and fucking like Gattaca and all these people, and then she's a violinist.
And she's like in her 50s, right?
Yeah, now maybe closer to. Oh, we're not talking ages now.
Yeah, no, but we're not. But like that's the cool thing about being in demand. Like in music, it's so superficial. You have to be a certain look or whatever. But the more demand you're in, it doesn't even matter. If you're needed, you're needed. You're like, yes, come on. So like a violinist can go on forever. Well, any musician could play forever. We're not like soccer players where we have to hang our boots up or cleats, I should say. Yeah. We don't have to hang our cleats up when we're like 35. We could just go on forever, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but that's fucking cool. So that's a great answer, man. Producer. Do you play keyboards as well?
No, I do a lot of MIDI programming though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Vibe and all that. That's awesome.
It's funny you say like we can go on forever. I've heard some really insightful interviews from people saying like, it doesn't really matter if you get old. If you're a musician, even if you want to tour and do live shows, it's okay to get older. It's okay to get to change your image. It's okay to like change your musical style and your vocal style and your instrumental style. What's not okay is you can't gain weight. That's not okay.
Yeah.
If you guys start gaining weight, your career goes, see ya later on. We don't want you anymore.
Yeah. Except it's like people really are so nostalgic about your Girls album or whatever. And then, I don't know. I'm just throwing shade at like Motley Crue, but just because you can. But that's not anything to be really. I don't give a fuck what happens here. Proud of. I don't think that's anything to be proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I love that. Like Bowie and Tom Waits, all those guys kept changing their image, and they kept and they were still like pretty much in shape, and they're like cool. Like
I kind of feel like you need to grow. Like if you stay the same, most of the time you get left behind in the years that you peaked.
Yeah.
And then like bands like the Stones or whatever, they moved along with the times, right?
Yeah.
They kind of grew a little bit. You don't have to change completely, but you grow with your times. And then once you stop growing, you kind of play the hits.
Yeah, that's it.
It's kind of, but I don't know, man. It's like crazy. Some people try and then they just fail miserably.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think there's more to it than that? Like you can grow and change with the times, but because there's not a whole lot of money behind you, you don't really grow in success.
Yeah.
You just continue,
Yeah, I do think that there needs to be money for those kind of acts that keep doing it. I mean, but there's still some acts I like that people might not consider like super successful. Like, do you know Buzz Walker? He's like a songwriter. He writes songs for like Pink and everything. He's fucking amazing. Like the guy's amazing.
Oh wow,
country artist, right?
Yeah, he's like a indie rock dude.
Yeah,
indie rock. And he does a bunch of stuff, but he has his fan base and he grows, within his fan base.
Yeah.
And he had his own band before, and then he left that band because the record label was trying to screw them, and then he just kept doing his thing, and he's still like he still makes a good living and he still does his thing and he has a good fan base.
Right.
But like he doesn't have the money behind him like the Stones would have, or like Pink or something. Like when Lady Gaga changes her outfit, it's a whole new movement kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa, we're all wearing leather for this next 2 years, and then we'll see what's next. Now she's country, so we're all country.
Now we're all
so
country,
we're.
yep.
It's I think there's some people can like they move and they grow within themselves. So some people have to evolve, I think, to stay relevant with the times if you're that big. But I think if you're like authentic to yourself, you can just keep your fans and kind of grow yourself. But it's weird.
Right.
Well, so like, let me ask you a question. What about a band like? I'm assuming we're all fans of System of a Down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they
Okay, so
started.
what do you want System of a Down's next album to sound like?
Good question.
Damn.
You want the same old thing, or you want them to try something new?
I want them to just skew a little bit to like a different. I still want them to be System, but I like if they could add more cultural shit in there, like more whatever. I don't know what like, you know.
They're Armenian.
Yeah, I don't know what are some cultural Armenian instruments. It's I'm thinking of.
I mean, the singer has done some cool stuff. That like he sang songs all in Armenian. Like if you go on YouTube, you can find like the songs of him singing by himself, like his own solo stuff. But yeah, like I would kind of be like Derek too. Like I want System of a Down to be System, but also to maybe they do a concept next album. It'll be interesting. But I usually hate like when a band does a weird concept album. Like they go Yellow Submarine, System of a Down Yellow Submarine style.
They did Hypnotize and Mesmerize. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But like
you can take those two CD jackets and insert one into the other, and it's a double. Like you buy the discs separately.
Oh.
I have it downstairs. I can show you if you want. You buy two different albums. They came out in 2 different years.
Yeah.
But one of them folds out, and it's this flap, right? And you like, oh wait a second, and it says like an arrow, and then the other album is like you can see there's an opening. You put the flap inside the fold, and now it folds up into a double disc.
Whoa! I didn't know that shit. That's fucking
Hypnotize and Mesmerize, right? Damn. So it sounds like the title of one album, Hypnotize and Mesmerize, right?
Yeah,
and that's really what it was. But they released it as 2 separate albums as this concept, Crazy Yellow Submarine type thing that you're talking about. That I agree with you. I don't think bands should do that crap, but they did it, and it was so sneaky.
Yeah,
that I was like, all right, I'll give you a pass. You know, like
yeah. And then sometimes like it takes a few listens to understand, or you might even appreciate it 10 years later. Like if there's a band that does a weird Yellow Submarine thing, and like at that time I'm like, fuck you, Iron Maiden. Why did he do a country album? And then like 20 years later, Iron Maiden did a badass country album.
Yeah, I remember it.
Maybe I have to grow, sometimes because they're ahead of their own thing. They know what they're doing. But I mean,
okay. What about things that are like maybe ahead of their time, like the new Star Wars series, right?
Oh yeah, way ahead of their time.
Are they ahead of their time, or does it just suck?
I don't know.
I think it fucking blows. I thought the first 3 prequels, I thought 1, 2, and 3 were like pretty ahead of their time, but everyone hates them. But I think like those are sick. I thought they were like Shakespearean and shit.
It's because Derek, when the first one came out, episode 1, Derek was that kid.
Yeah.
He literally was that little.
I was Baby Annie. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like Baby Annie, everything. So it was his movie.
Yeah, it was a movie.
I was like, fuck it. Okay, whatever. But the new
everyone hated Annie, that little actor.
Yeah.
Kid.
I hated it.
Everyone hated him.
Derek looked like Annie. It was him.
Yeah.
It was him. He was like, this is my movie. Yeah, but representation for Derek in that movie.
He looked good. He's a cute little kid,
Yeah.
So that means you're probably a cute little kid.
Yeah.
But his acting was terrible.
No,
Yeah.
A lot of the acting, like even what's his name, Christian Haydenson. He was pretty terrible in 2 and 3, but he killed it in the fight scene, in the big lava scene.
Yeah.
So that kind of made up for it.
Yeah, I think people maybe Star Wars will get so bad that then we'll miss these movies.
Yeah.
That's like how I now I miss kind of episode 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
I still hate episode 1. 2 and 3 is better than them, but whatever. I don't want to get into it. It'll be a whole different podcast, Masters of Star Wars.
Yeah, we'll start that one next week.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Let me ask you one other question before we move on.
Uh-huh.
the new Mandalorian series, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Everyone says this is the greatest thing Star Wars has ever done. Let me ask you, where does it fall in your top 100 best television shows of all time in your mind?
Ooh, I have seen all.
Does it even fall into the top 100?
Maybe because I'm biased, because I just like cool Star Wars shit. Maybe, but
Yeah.
what do you think? And I want to know where the hell you're going with this. But
I'm saying like that show. I think that show's way overrated. It's a well done show.
Right.
It's fine. It's a solid C minus. You know.
Okay.
But I can't put it in even the top 30 of my favorite show. I could probably think of 30 TV shows throughout history that I've loved a lot more than that show. Right. So while it's good and it's a good passing moment, I don't like that it's like got all this false praise.
Right.
You know, I think that show is just a good try, a good effort, good for Star Wars. You know, an A+ for Star Wars, but a C- is in the realm of TV shows. You know,
Right.
Yeah. And it's like I don't like when things get undue praise. I don't think that's cool. You know, there's too much praise. There's too many other people in the world that require praise for this show to be soaking it up. You know,
Absolutely.
like there's too much more other real talent in the world. But I don't know. It's hard to make a TV show, and good for them. And there's going to be a season 2, and whatever.
I was surprised by the quality. I like the quality.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I was like, fuck, this is awesome for a show. But I still didn't even finish watching it. And then I kind of broke it down as a Western. Like, it's basically
Okay.
Good, Bad, and Ugly with Star Wars kind of fucking fit and bounty hunters and all that. The way they filmed it, it's like cowboy shots and all of this fucking other things. I'm going to film school too, so I'm fucking everywhere. But yeah, I wouldn't consider it a show like something that I would want to watch right away. But I did watch it because of it's Star Wars, and I do think it's better than the new trilogy.
Did you take any lessons or of any kind?
I have this 6-hour warm up. The warm up music lesson thing that everyone uses. You can go to any backstage in any freaking local show, and you see the singer doing these same gia 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 gia.
Yeah,
it's all the same warm ups from this one 6-hour music voice lessons CD that came out back. I don't know. I've had it for years. I've given it to lots of people. Like,
damn, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that was Derek. Derek was. For sure, he told me before he wants to know what your warm up routine is.
Yeah,
that was
how the fuck do you?
And we don't know what that.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
we need you to pass along that 6
you
hours.
You ever do like a full on show and then not warm up and then suffer the consequences in some way?
Oh
yeah, that's every
too
day.
many times. Yeah.
I passed out once.
Oh fuck.
Oh wow.
I passed out on stage once. It was scary.
Oh my god. Holy shit! For how long?
I was singing. So this was like I had two shows. I had a Friday, a 4-set cover band thing, and then a Saturday 4-set cover band thing. And I was singing most of both. Right. There was the other guys sang too, but most of 60-70% of the songs I was singing. Right.
Right.
So on night 2, this was me, Wes Styles, and Brian Myers. Right. It's September's in Rialto in a restaurant playing cover. So we were at the last song at the end of the 4th set. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go home. We're actually done. Our time is up. But they're like, let's pull out one more. Murv, I see that I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston is on your list of songs that you know how to sing, Murv. And went, yeah.
Oh.
And so,
Fuck.
So immediately our shtick is always that we make fun of stuff and joke around about stuff, right? So immediately I'm going, yeah, but that song's really hard to sing, bro. We shouldn't do that. And I'm kind of serious at this point, but so we make a big deal out of how hard this song is to sing. And we get to the end of the song, and you know how it modulates up to B, and it goes, and
yeah.
Before we get to that moment of the song, I go, so hold on, guys, stop. And I stop the band, and I go, whoo! And that's the last thing you do is take one of those breaths before you're trying to hit a big note, because that'll make you lightheaded.
Yeah.
I did that. I start talking to them. I'm like, oh, I'm about to hit this note, guys. You know what's coming next. You know this song. I'm going to hit the high note, and it's going to, whoo, and I'm tired, guys. This is the end of the night here. So I need all your energy to help me, right?
Yeah.
And I went, all right, here we go. So I did it. I went, and like I saw a white light.
Oh, no.
Now, we were supposed to play the national anthem after this song as our closer.
Uh-huh.
So I saw white light, and I looked down in my hands, and I wasn't playing bass anymore. And I looked over the guitar player, Wes, and he's laughing and playing the national anthem. So I missed some time is what happened. I blacked out. And he's laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? And after we're wrapping up, or at the end of the show, we're wrapping up the cables. Now, granted, I just made a big deal about how hard this part was to sing, right?
Yeah.
Wes kind of, oh, that was great what you did there. And I'm like, what? Well, I don't know what happened. And he's like, well, you know, you did the thing where you pretended like you passed out. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, you went into the microphone. And I was still on my feet, mind you, right? So everyone in the audience is laughing. He's laughing. It went over great. But I literally had like a scary fucking moment where I was out. And he's like, so I'm like, I think I blacked out. I think I passed out. He's like, what? That's what that was? That was real? And I'm like, uh-huh.
Oh my God.
How many brain cells did I kill in that process?
Yeah.
Probably half of them, right?
Yeah, probably as much as Whitney did, like, when she's not performing.
Yeah, probably.
God damn, dude. Oh my God.
But you ever done that? You hit a really high note and you get lightheaded and you get dizzy and you're like, how am I going to recover from this? And you do. Has that ever happened to you?
I do. You know, it has, but I've never gotten that far. I'm like, I've definitely like had to sit on an amp or something and be like, okay, hold on, and then I just like kind of shake it off or whatever. But that's fucking nuts, dude. I was just gonna ask, like, what did the audience, like, the audience must have thought it was like amazing. I was like,
they thought it was a joke.
Yeah,
they thought it was a joke. Everyone worked great. The shtick worked.
That works. You got to do it now. It's like part of the, you know, when we go gigging again, you got to do that again, man.
Yeah.
Damn, genius.
Damn.
Is this in Vegas?
That was in September's in Rialto.
Rialto.
It was a restaurant. It was a restaurant gig.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice. I love those.
Give it your all wherever you go.
Yeah. Pass
Rock it out.
at a restaurant.
Yeah.
God.
For literally like the smallest amount of people at the end of the night, right? Like the last 8 people were there.
That's perfect. Oh my God.
Hey, Murv, so we have this thing that we do with everyone that we interview.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we have the final 5. So we have 5 questions. You can take your time to answer them or spitfire if you want. And they're like cool, like musician ones. Is it cool if we...
We ask you the final 5.
The final 5,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So number 1 is the most important piece of gear or secret weapon while on tour or in the studio. This is for more the gearheads, kind of like people that want to know what you like in the studio or on tour.
Tour, live, secret weapon, or most favorite gear pedal, anything. I don't know. Anything.
I'm gonna say as a bass player, it's What? Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm sure that was just latency. No, I was just saying, yeah, whatever piece of weapon, whatever your gear. Continue. Sorry.
So as a bass player, I've been looking for like the right tone and the right amp and the right head and the right speaker and the right bass and the right pedals. And Victor Broden pointed out to me that because Victor Broden, the bass player, you know the guy who plays Sunset Jam all the time.
Yeah.
The big Swedish guy.
Yeah.
He always has a consistent tone, and it's no matter what bass he plays, it's like that's still the same nice, bright, punchy tone. He told me the secret, and I'm just going to blurt it out right now. It's the strings. It has very little to do with the actual bass or the amp. It's that you need to use steel strings, preferably fresh ones, but steel strings actually last longer than other types of strings, right? And so he's like, as a bass player, if you feel like you're playing your tone is soft and there's not enough attack or there's not enough something, it's usually that you're not using the right strings. Don't go buying 8,000 different basses before you try the strings, because. And it makes sense too. Like it's like that the string is what's making the sound. Why do we as musicians we never think of it? Oh, it must be the strings. No, it must be the instrument. Yeah. It must be I have to use a pick instead of my fingers. I have to use I have to get an amp peg. That'll make all the difference in the world. And that's all nonsense. It's the strings.
Yeah.
So as a bass player, I'm assuming as a guitar player too, but as a bass player, make sure you start with good strings. Diodario steel strings or something.
Right.
Something good. And they're expensive, but oh my God, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference if that's a problem you're having.
Wow, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, of course. It's so simple, but like it's such a little secret little thing you got to pay attention to. That's awesome.
I mean, I'm like, I've been playing bass for a while. I learned this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Sometimes it takes time to get like the secrets.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's insane.
That's awesome.
So number 2
Question 2.
is, what is your most memorable or crazy story from the road? You just told us
You told us, yeah, you already
crazy.
answered question 2.
I don't know if you have something else, but
Memorable moment, craziest road story, or any studio too. I don't know.
anything.
Memorable moment in your career.
It doesn't even have to be crazy.
It doesn't have to be crazy, unless it is. I don't know. Cocaine on the rocks. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So I was on my first bus tour with this band Revolting Cocks, and this was they kept a chart like day 1. Here's what happened on day 1, day 2, right? So it was a cute little journal that was placed on the wall of the bathroom of the bus, right?
Yeah.
And it's always going to be written that on day 1, I decided to heat up an egg in the microwave, right? Like I'm like, how are we have to eat somehow, and I'm not going to be spending all my per diem money on food. You get $20 a day. That's not enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get eggs. I'm going to store them in the fridge. I'm going to heat them up. That was my plan. Day 1, I stuck an egg in the microwave in a cup, a raw egg, and I'm like, I'll just heat it up this way, and it worked. But there was I opened up the microwave, I pressed start for I don't know, a minute, walked to my bunk, figured it would be done when it was done. And I come back and the smoke alarm's going off and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? And they open the microwave and there's smoke billowing out. They were calling it fire. I think it was just a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
And everything smelled like egg that day.
Yeah.
So day 1, Murv started a fire on the bus. And it's like in The Office, like Ryan is that fire.
Murv started the fire.
The fire guy.
The fire guy.
Right,
Oh,
the fire.
first day on tour. Oh no.
Damn, you should get a tattoo of an egg on fire.
Yeah, that's your new shit.
The fiery egg.
Yeah.
That's great.
Next album cover.
Yeah, that's fucking genius. Oh, the Revolting Cocks.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
A few weeks ago I set my hair on fire. I still have all my hair. It's all in a bun right now.
Oh.
But I actually set my hair on fire. I was in the bathroom and there was a candle lit. And I leaned over, my hair was out, and a little bit caught, and I heard this crackling, singeing. You ever set your hair on fire?
A little bit.
Yeah. Look at all this hair. It's always on fire.
Yeah.
I used to smoke cigarettes all the fucking
loud, crackly, singy sound.
Yeah.
That the scariest sound in the world that immediately alerts you that your hair is on fire.
Yeah.
Right? You're aware of that. That feeling you get when you're like, I have set my own head on fire. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me a few weeks ago. That was interesting. I immediately start smacking myself in the head.
Yeah, it seems like your hair is super flammable.
Yeah, your hair looks like
all the stuff you put in your hair. It's like fucking
Yeah.
it's got to be flammable.
NASA level flammable. It's fucking insane. Okay, number 3.
Fuck yeah.
What are your tips for songwriting? If you have,
Oh wait, say that again. Exactly the same.
what are your tips for songwriting?
Oh, I couldn't harmonize. Sorry, I tried. That's like demonic third or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are your tips for songwriting?
Tips for songwriting.
Yeah. Or the most important tip.
Yeah.
Whatever. Tips.
A valid.
Okay, so Ice Cube had a pretty good tip. You want to hear what Ice Cube said?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Someone asked him what's the next big thing in music, right?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I don't know. It's hard to predict. And I thought, oh, what a cop-out answer. But then he continued, right? He said, it's not what you think is cool. It's not what you think people think is cool. It's not what you're predicting what will be cool. It's not any of that. It has nothing to do with what you think. It has to do with whatever you're feeling right this moment is what's actually cool. And it's usually going to be, I think that's where he ended, but I'm going to add my own. It's usually going to be your most embarrassing version of your song. Like the thing that you don't want to show anybody, or you think, oh, I'm just taking the easy way out by singing this, or, but if you're taking the easy way out by singing this, it's because you're good at that, right? Mm-hmm. I think what most songwriters do, what most musicians do, is they try to play either at or above their ability. But if you're playing below your ability, you sound fucking amazing, Right. And if you're writing below your ability, you're writing really good, you know, because you're like, look at how good I am at this low level for me. This is a low level for me. It might not be a low level for anyone else. And it might, no matter how low a level it is, still be interesting to the rest of the world. So do the thing that comes naturally to you. And if you're embarrassed to show it to people, it's probably a hit. It's probably revelatory about who you are, and therefore more interesting. You know, I have a friend I'm working with now. He has a song. It's great, right? Yeah. He's literally saying the name of a girl in the song, but he doesn't want the girl. He didn't want to get, you know, be stuck with that song. Should anything happen with the relationship, or should, like, you know, the girl hear it and be like, what the hell? You know, he's embarrassed. Right. So he's changing the best part of the song, right, to be something that we have to work out now. But, like, you know, to a good lyric, we have to work now towards a good lyric. When he had one to be, the lyric was the girl's name. The lyric was the girl's name. Yeah. Damn. And it was great. It's like, you know, every song you've ever heard where they actually say the girl's name, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's right. True. You're like, you know, but and it was like the main hook in the song. But, like, you know, I say do the thing that you're not afraid, because if you want success, if you want it to be a good song, then you have to sacrifice, right? So you got to be embarrassed, and you got to, like, risk ruining that relationship, and you got to risk losing your job if you want to go on tour. And if you got to risk, you got to take risk, and you're going to have to fail, and you're going to have to feel the pain of that failure, even if you know it's coming. That's the process, whether you like it or not. So you have to, or don't be a musician. Go find a job, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Don't do this, because this is a risk, you know? Right. And if you're not taking a risk, if there's no risk, like, if there's no danger, there's no rock and roll. Actually, if there's no danger, there's no fun. Yeah. There's no fun without danger. There's no fun without danger. So that's the whole point. That's why we don't have a lot of good songs on the radio now. Yeah. Because none of them are risking anything.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a fucking badass.
I don't even know the answer to this question, man.
That answers more than just that question. You have no idea. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. Thank you. That actually goes back to what you were saying earlier, like, about how music is, being an artist just in general, involves pain and involves danger and risk in your past and in your current life. And, like, you know, talking about, and you're right, talking like songs like Julia by the Beatles, or I don't know, like, there's so many songs with names in there that are so personal. So when you hear it, you're like, oh, I knew a, you know, whatever, you know, that name is. So like, yeah, that just goes on current. Like, you just got to fucking go out there. You got to get out. You got to just put your blood and guts on a thing and see if it sells.
Yeah, because we as the audience don't care that you're embarrassed. We just want to see the art.
That's right, yeah.
So it's like, if you can look at it from that perspective, all bets are off. You can say whatever you want and do whatever you want and just call it art, you know? And then, unfortunately, even in that elevated perspective, you're losing the embarrassment that you had that was motivating the art. So you just have to feel the pain and feel the embarrassment. That's the secret, right? Yeah. And if you're on stage, you guys know this. If you're on stage and you're totally comfy, you know it's going to be your worst performance. Yeah. It's going to be completely uninspired, right? Mm-hmm. But when something's not quite right, and you're struggling to hold it together, and you're just going to force it out there anyway, and it works. And for some reason, it works better. And the reason is because you're feeling something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's people connect more. That's fucking badass. I wonder what songs people, like, they cleaned up because they thought it was going to be better. Like Led Zeppelin probably it was supposed to be Stairway to Stacy, but then he's like, no, Stairway to Heaven. Let's change it.
Yeah, maybe.
What other bands, like, fucked up their songs? No, but that song's badass.
That's a bad example.
Yeah, bad example. Maybe the girl was named Heaven, like, whatever. I don't know. True, yeah. That's a whole different meaning to that.
Well, I'm sure actually Zeppelin, what felt like maybe we shouldn't talk about heaven, you know, because we're kind of like
yeah.
But then even heaven is like, I don't want to say heaven. That's too, you know, hunky dory, whatever. But it turned out to be their greatest masterpiece to most, at least the majority.
Yeah, or most annoying song
at Guitar Center. That way.
Well, fuck,
you're probably right. They were probably embarrassed.
Probably, but you just sparked that idea right now. I didn't think of it that way either until you said it.
If you're embarrassed, I mean,
Stairway to Heaven seems like the perfect song, but they're probably like, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. Like, I don't want to sing this.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, if we had to write a song called The Road to Jesus.
Yeah. Exactly. I wouldn't want to sing that, but it might be genius. Like,
yeah.
Shit. Like, real.
Okay, we'll start pre-production tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll send you some ideas.
We'll go to Murv's.
Yeah. Go to Murv Studio.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4.
This is more musician type again. What is your favorite lick or technique that has helped your playing? But it can also be for vocals or even producers stuff too. Like anything, it might be. It doesn't have to be playing. It could be producing.
Your favorite lick and or technique
Yeah.
while performing or recording?
Yeah. No, that
there's
I know you do hands. Like, why do you play with your hand versus a pick? Or
That's right. Your right hand.
yeah,
You're a finger guy.
Yeah. So I noticed that when you play with a pick, there's like a certain attack that you get, but a certain thump that you lose
Right.
in the tone.
Yeah.
And I prefer two things. I prefer that. Well, no, you know what? I prefer the tone that's appropriate for the song. They're like, what's his name from Green Day, the bass player guy, plays with a pick, and he's right to do that. It sounds better that way.
Right.
But then, so sometimes the sound is more important than how you feel. But the way I feel, which is I'm going to say less important than the actual end result, the sound, is going to be I like the control I have over the bass with my hands. And I like the thump, obviously, that I get, that I always want that to be there, that I know isn't there with the pick. But, like, it's like the difference between driving stick shift and driving automatic. Like, with stick, you have a certain control over the car, the tactile kind of connection, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if you're driving automatic, you're not more likely to fall asleep necessarily, but you're more likely to disconnect from the experience of driving. You know, you don't have any road feel. Well, and this is the same kind of thing. Like, if I'm playing with a pick, I feel just that much more disconnected from the instrument and therefore maybe disconnected from the music or the rhythm. Like, I like to, like, dig in, play with my fingers, feel, you know, sometimes, most of the time, the bass player can't hear themselves on stage. That's just not a reality. That's just the reality of playing bass, right? You're most of the time, the guitar is going to be louder, the drums are the crash cymbals. Even if the bass is loud enough, I'm 5.5 feet tall. My ear level is right next to that crash cymbal, and guess where the bass player normally stands on stage? Right next to that. So, like, my connection is going to be with my hands and the instrument, and not even the tone that's coming out so much, right?
Right.
So I'm literally feeling the vibration on my stomach or something of the bass, and that's motivating my playing. And then the only other thing that really motivates my playing usually is the connection with, like, I'll stare at the drummer's kick drum, his foot. I'll stare at his foot and anticipate, because I like it when the bass player and the drummer lock. It's not always the best. Sometimes it doesn't. If I'm just playing only when the kick drum hits, it's not necessarily the best for the groove. But I like how that feels when I'm doom, 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 doom. You know, I like just playing only the kick drum hits. You know, if I can. I feel like if I play the snare drum hits, I'm cheating. You know,
No.
I'm getting by. Do do da do 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 da do da. But I'm playing too many notes according to my little crazy rules in my head, right? So I like just making it sound like my bass guitar isn't even coming from me. I want it to sound like it's coming out of that kick drum. Like, kind of like in the song Spoon Man by Soundgarden. You know that song? It goes, and it sounds like there's no bass player. It sounds like it's all drums making those noises, even though there's clearly a bass line happening, right?
Yeah.
I like that. So, well, I don't remember what your question was. There's a technique I like. I like locking in with the kick drum directly. No, you're asking about the pick.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
are you
we were just
using a
like,
pick?
Why you use your technique versus a pick? Because you seem to use your hands. So
Yeah. But the original question was, what's your favorite lick or technique?
Yeah.
Or anything. But you kind of
as a playing wise, but that's awesome. Yeah, because like we were talking about Glenn Hughes before this,
Right.
and he says like he's a singer and a bass player too, and he says it's not the notes you play, it's the notes you don't play. So it's kind of like what you were saying. It's perfect. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the final of the final fives. We have one more. Derek would do this one.
Okay. What is the best advice? Oh, I like this question. I love this question. What is the best advice you would give a person looking to do what you do?
The best.
The best advice you give someone to do, and whatever you do, you know, summarize it yourself, because you're kind of a master of all.
You're such a sweetheart. You guys are such sweethearts. Honestly, it depends on the situation, but let's say the most common situation, right? Which is you're here, you're trying to play in bands, you're trying to get noticed. You may or may not be any good at your instrument. You may or may not be any good at actual music, but you have a love for it and you want to try it. Honest to goodness truth, this is going to sound shallow, and it is shallow, but you need to focus on how you look, because that'll get you further than how you sound. All the sounds have been done, all the noises have been made in history. Everyone's heard it all, but they haven't seen it all. So, if you can do something with your look, definitely be in shape. That's number one. If you like eating anything sweet, don't do that anymore. Unless you're naturally skinny or something, you need to be fucking in shape, right?
Yeah.
Or else your chances go from 60% to 10%, right? But you want to get up to that 60%, don't you? So be in shape.
Yep.
But also do something. Realize that your image is you can't see what pants I'm wearing right now, right? And right now my hair's all tied up in a bun. I got no image whatsoever other than the sun on my shirt, right?
Yeah.
But your image is from here to here. That's it. So you need to do something special, and I'm going to say something more than embarrassing from here to here. Mostly here. Maybe use your hair. That's what I do. If you have some incredibly genetically gifted, enigmatic looking face, good for you. But that you're probably, if you're having this problem of what do I do next, you probably don't have this naturally gifted thing going on. So you need to do something. You need to do something that embarrasses you, because that's most likely going to be the strangest thing. That if it's hard for you to do, that means no one else is doing it because it's too hard. So do the thing that's hard. When I get on stage, I stand in positions. I don't do this as much as the Sunset Jam, but when I go on tour in Powerman, where I'm just a bass player and my job is just to jump around, I strike poses that hurt my knees. I jump in ways and I stand in ways that hurts. And it doesn't look that odd in photographs. I'd like it to look weirder. I'd like to stand out more. But the reality is when you start standing in a weird position and hold it and it starts to hurt and you start shaking, then the photographer goes, oh, that's different. And they get a picture of you and they try to line it up and they turn the camera sideways and they get this kind of normal, because they matched your angle now, right? Yeah. They get this normal shot of you. So the shot really is straight on when you see the picture. So you kind of have this, why do all my pictures look normal kind of a thing? It's because the photographer's matching what you're doing and they were drawn to you because you were doing something different. So at the end of the day, it's hard to be that different. So no matter how crazy and angular and different you go, but when the world captures you, it's not going to be as crazy as you think. It's not going to be as embarrassing as you think. So do it all the way, because you want to draw them. You want to draw in those photographers. You want to draw in investors to invest in your band. You want to draw in musicians who want to play with you. You want to draw in people who are going to hire your band and give you jobs and give you money. The only way to do that is to be attractive to them. The one biggest way to be attractive to them is visually, and the one way to do that is to embarrass yourself.
Right.
If you're not embarrassing yourself, if you're getting on stage wearing all black, you know who else wears black? The fucking janitor. You know who else wears black? The tech who goes on stage to fix the kick drum mic, and he's wearing black so he won't be seen. So don't you as a musician make that mistake. You want to be seen, right? You got to embarrass yourself. That's what I would say you got to do, because you're not going to do it with your amazing guitar tone. You're not going to do it with your amazing voice. You're not going to do it with your amazing drum style. You might get a couple gigs, but if you look better, you're going to get a couple more. So I don't know. Focus on how you look. You have to. It's that shallow. And if you're at this point trying to figure out what to do next, that means you haven't figured it out yet. So go start with what you look. If you don't need to ask this question to begin with, I'm not having any. If your answer is I'm not having any problems getting musician gigs or getting my bands on tour and I'm doing great, hey, don't follow this advice. You've already done what you need to do. But if you do have this problem, check on how you look. Wow. That's what I would say.
Dude, that's fucking badass.
That's real. That is very real.
I love the way that you said the world doesn't even see it as weird as you might feel it. Mm-hmm. You might feel super embarrassed, but when you're actually out there in the world doesn't see it as embarrassing or as anything as you actually feel. So that's look what happened to Matt Riley when he started doing his hair. You know Matt Riley.
Matt from... Wait, no, I don't know. Matt Riley?
Matt Riley, the guy with the pink spiky hair off to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the bass player.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what band he's in now?
No. What are you playing with?
He's Avril Lavigne's bass player.
Oh, now. My God.
Damn.
Because then it happens within 6 months of him doing his hair.
Damn.
The shit works. You know, all he didn't make over his entire outfit or anything or change much. He changed his hair, you know?
Damn.
And it worked. One thing, you know, he tried to start wearing makeup. When you wear makeup, you just look like, the light's hitting you correctly. So it's not really as embarrassing as he thought it might be, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
But he did something crazy to his hair, and he got attention, and it worked. He got the gig, you know?
That's the way, man. You have your old teacher from MI lost the Chili Peppers gig
Oh yeah.
to this one guy we might know.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna say any names, but I had this teacher. I went to MI, Musicians Institute in Hollywood, and I know musicians don't like to say that because it's embarrassing that he went to school to learn or whatever. But I went there, and one of my teachers has a story that he auditioned to be in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
So he went to the audition for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he's amazing. This motherfucker writes books on guitar techniques. Like, this guy's an amazing guitar player. And then he walks out, and he's like, yeah, I think I got the gig. It's like the best fucking shit. He was young and shape and everything. And then in walks this guy with no shirt on, leather pants, fucking, like, tattoos everywhere, makeup
Up
on.
to his neck. Yeah.
Up to his neck, everything
Makeup.
crazy. And he was like, fuck it, I'm not going to get that gig. And the guy that walked in was fucking Dave Navarro.
Yeah.
And that's when Dave Navarro got the gig to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And that's how, yeah.
And
man.
like, his whole, and that's a story that he says in spite now. Like, he's like, fuck it. Like, yeah.
And Dave is great. Like, he's awesome.
That's
Badass.
amazing.
But he's not.
He's
He
not
can't
this
really
dude.
he's not an MIT professor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, back then, he was an MI professor, too, but he was a fucking badass, and he still is a badass. Like, it's just amazing how good this guy is. And I would be like, yeah, he's better than Dave Navarro, for sure, hands down. As a guitar player, 100% better than Dave Navarro.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the gig because of the makeup, tattoos, and leather pants, and no shirt.
Yeah.
Like, that was the difference.
Yeah. I think
Well, Navarro's got charisma.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I know
it.
that, too. But that was, like, the thing. It was, like, this guy who's an amazing guitar player and everything,
yeah.
he lost the gig to somebody that just walks in the room and just stole everything.
He just owned the room immediately
Yeah.
before he walked in initially. And I got to see Jane's play like a mini set last month. And I didn't know Navarro. He's like, he moves all over the stage. He jumps up 6 feet in the air. Navarro's got the moves, man. He's sick. Like, and
Yeah.
he's just dope as fuck.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
this show, Ink Master.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
he's the
yeah.
Ink Master.
You guys have a good show, by the way. You guys are good.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome, thanks.
You guys have a fun show.
Yeah. No, but also, like, I want to ask you one more thing about, like, we talked about, like, a lot of things, but also,
Yeah.
like, as a little bit more personal, no, not too personal, but, like, your specific gigs, how did you end up? Did you, like, meet somebody to get the first one? Because I know it's always the ball rolling once you get the first one.
Yeah, it's
It's like people who want to be, like a sideman like you, or like as your gigs with like Powerman or whatever.
You're like a hitman. You're a hired gun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What's your question? You're saying that's a crazy question to answer because
Yeah, because it's
happened.
always different. I think it is. It's like this happens. I have friends that got gigs by luck, and other friends that got fucked by luck. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just different. But like, and then there's dudes in Hollywood that we all know, like Barry Squire. Like, I don't know. Do you know Barry?
Yeah.
Everyone knows
I've
Barry.
got some gigs through Barry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, if you know Barry, like, people that watch this, and musicians or people that want to come to Hollywood will be like, oh, how do I get a gig as a sideman? Like, my whole dream when I was younger was to be a hired gun. Like, I never give a fuck about anything else. Being a hired gun just felt so cool. Like, I was Clint Eastwood. Come to that town, bust out a tour, go to a different town. Like, that was the whole thing.
That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, how was yours? You just came. I mean, you're from LA, so you just played around and
Yeah, how'd you get your
Met
like
people?
first kind of big break? I guess.
yeah.
Somewhat.
How would you?
So for the most part, I say yes to everything.
Right.
And so like that is years of like from the age of like 15. Anyone needs a bass player. And eventually you get offered to play your instrument or sing or play in some band, and if you say no because you don't for whatever reason it's inconvenient or something, then you're the no guy, right? But if you say yes, then you're a guy who'll show up, right?
Yeah.
So I say yes to everything. For a long time, I said yes to every single opportunity I got, and so at some points I was in 6, 7, 8 bands,
Right.
But like, I'll be honest, like most of my contacts and gigs like come through certain people. I could track, down to friends in high school who knew this person and that was what's his face boyfriend, and he needed a bass player, and so they knew me and they suggested me. But like I know Matt Fuller, and he's got me a lot of gigs,
Right.
because and he, I've come to realize, well, okay, why does he choose me sometimes? It's because he knows I do my homework, he knows I show up on time, and like I don't have a lot of excuses to not be there. He just knows I'm somewhat reliable,
Yeah.
right? And he doesn't he likes me. So I just say yes. I say yes for years. I said yes to everything, right? Because I always felt like, I think we all feel this way a little, where it's like, opportunities don't come but once a lifetime. So when they come twice, you better say yes twice.
Yeah.
And if they come once a month, you better say yes once a month. And, you better figure out how to make it work. And if you don't have time for that kind of thing, then this isn't the career for you, like, so if you're thinking that way, you're going to see every person interested in your talent as a golden opportunity. Like, oh my God, they want me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll make the most of this, and it sucks, because I feel like sometimes lately, like I've been sometimes I have a full schedule of stuff, right? Recording and playing gigs, and someone asked me to play bass in their band, and I go, instead of saying no, I challenge the shit out of them. I go, okay, well, what's your plan? We just want to get together and jam, bro. Okay, for what purpose? Because I could just learn the songs in advance. Do you have a budget? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
I start asking them all the questions, and they don't call me back.
Wow.
So that's my current way of saying no. But it's also my current way of saying yes, to be honest. Because, like, if you have a solid plan, like, hey, within 3 months we're going to be touring, so you need to learn these songs by next week, and, oh, okay, this is serious, Or, we just want to get together and work on the songs, and we're not going to pay you, but we want you to have an equal part in the band. I go, okay, well, let me be your producer. And if that's a no-go, then it's a no-go. You don't want me to tell you how to write your songs? Fine. Then I won't do it,
Yeah.
But I always give it the same, this still giving them a chance. Like, you want to do this with me? Because I'm not going to make it easy on you,
Yeah.
But that's, I say yes to everything that you can, say yes to everything as much as you can, because how many opportunities do you really have? Like, just say yes, and then try to make your own band if you're not getting enough offers. And if you're not getting offers, find out why, find out, are you overweight?
Right.
Do you dress in black sheet t-shirt and black jeans, and that's why no one notices you? Is your hair the same as everybody else's? Like, just ask questions about yourself, because if you're doing everything right, you're going to attract everything. But even still, you shouldn't be waiting for that. You should be doing your thing. I'm going to do my band, or I'm going to go out and look for cover bands that need me. And if you do that once a week for 2 months, you'll get a gig.
Yeah.
Damn.
But you guys do this.
Yeah,
No.
but this is just like, also just we hear it from you, and people hear it from you. Like, this is great for everyone.
This is great for our audience and anyone. And I mean, but to be honest, I love hearing this from your perspective. You put it so eloquently in a very full circle way. Like, you somehow talk about what we just started talking about at the top of the interview. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. I'm like, yeah, of course.
It also reminds us of stuff.
Absolutely.
It reminds us, and it inspires us to keep going.
Yeah.
And like, just reminds us, like, yes, say yes. Why not say yes?
That's right.
If you say no, the world starts saying no. Like, you say yes, the world will say yes.
Yeah.
But also, this is also part, like, of question number 5. This all helps out. These are like badass, like.
Yeah. Very. What was
Wait.
question? Huh?
You know that saying that I think this applies to like everything I feel right now with what's happening in the world. I'm sure we all feel the same way, right? But there's a saying, I'm trying to remember, it's like that one really like crazy revolutionary rhetoric speech that says, there's a line that says like, we will not go blindly into the dark of the night. We will rage against the dying of the light, that like, you're not taking me down, motherfucker kind of attitude
Yeah.
is so important, you're not. No. Just because you told me it doesn't work doesn't mean I'm going to give up. You know, and I think what that entails is I'm open to whatever the truth is, even if it means that I've been doing everything wrong. I need to know, you know, and I think that attitude, I don't know, you can call it fire in the belly, is important. You got to have this passion. That's what passion is. You don't write a song without passion. You don't play a musical instrument without passion.
Yep.
You don't do that dispassionately. And if you do, you're not doing it very good. Yeah. So that's important. You got to be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this, you know?
That's awesome.
Fuck yeah. Everyone watching this, pay him enough money so he won't hurt you.
Yeah.
And go to his website immediately because we need it.
Or pay him to hurt you.
Yeah.
That might be a whole different session.
That too. He'll just fix his hair up.
I could bring the pain.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. Say yes to everything, but know your goddamn worth. I love that. That's the Murv way, man.
Fuck yeah, guys. Damn.
All right, well, fuck it. That's cool. We did it.
This is badass. Thanks for fucking being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I love you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking we love you too, dude. Next time we can.
What? Whoa!
That was awesome!
Murv Douglas on lead. Awesome!
Damn! Our worlds collided!
Woo! And now we're friends forever. Murv, we will always love you.
And whoa!
Whoa!
Next week we have Roger Carter! He's a badass drummer from
John 5, Rick Springfield, Lita Ford, many more.
and he has a badass studio in the valley called
Doghouse Studios.
So check it out, guys, next week. Thanks for being on our show.
Thank you. Thumbs up.
Bye.
Bye.
Doo-doo-doo.